The stage is set for tonight. The two presidential contenders are set to square off for their first and potentially only presidential debate.
We're now 8 weeks from Election Day. Ethan Kramer joins us live in studio with the preview of tonight's debate. Ethan.
Yeah, Justin, Stacey, in just a couple hours, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will take the stage in a highly anticipated debate. Today, I spoke with North Dakota House Representative Kelly Armstrong, who said he's hoping Trump will go at Harris pretty hard on her policy positions, especially since she just laid them out over the past couple of days. Take a listen.
Harris just put her policy platforms on her website, and I hope President Trump goes after her pretty hard on those with a little bit of his flair that makes him so popular with so many people. But on policy.
I also caught up with Minnesota State Senator Tina Smith, who expects to hear from Vice President Harris on how we as a country will go forward with Vice President Harris as the next president.
What we're going to see is Vice President Harris talking really clearly, and I expect directly to Americans about the path forward that she sees, what she wants to do to lower costs for Americans and to put this country on a path.
Again, in 3 key battleground states heading the election, it is razor tight, within virtually a percentage point of each other. Now take a look at this. One major factor for voters deciding on their choice for president is the economy and inflation, and Trump is overwhelmingly winning with those voters. Well, one big thing mentioned at both the RNC and DNC was interest rates for middle class. This poll shows in key swing states that registered voters think Harris will help more than Trump. So lots of storylines as we move into tonight's debate.